Welcome to the ITM Podcast.
This is episode 291 of the ITM Podcast, the official Boston Red Sox podcast of the CLNS Media Network, brought to you by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network, and the Boston Red Sox take a series from the New York Yankees. My name is York Copponi, that's Scott Neville. Scott, how you doing?
Good. That was actually fun. That was the first time in a while I've enjoyed. It felt like the first game that mattered in a while, and it didn't. It's still kind of none of the games matter, but like it felt like prime time. I don't know. We were doing cool stuff with that.
You know, I was going to just let it go and see when you came back. I don't know how much dead air was there. Was it a lot?
I kept talking, but when it started spinning and refreshing, I was like, I don't even know if it's recording me right now. Like, I know it does the local audio, but when it does the video spin, I was like, I don't know what is happening.
Yeah, if that happens again, we'll kill ourselves or something. I did have fun watching the Boston Red Sox a little bit at times. I'm not going to be that much of a downer, but I will say a series win against the New York Yankees, always a good thing. Always a good thing. Even if, looking back at it, it feels like they outplayed you for 20 of 27 innings. And I think that's kind of the way it feels. There was like moments of offensive grandeur, like big homers, stretching out leads. That's awesome. But the team still isn't in a place where they have the trust. You know, like even tonight, it doesn't matter how big your lead gets. You don't have my trust yet. They have not earned fans' trust. And no lead is safe. So was fun, was stressful right up until the very last second.
Yeah, I think that was fun. I mean, getting a win against the Yankees on primetime, fun. To win the series in that manner, fun. I also, I gotta say, I enjoy watching primetime summer games at Yankee Stadium because, dude, obviously home runs are sick and lead changes are sick and lots of runs, like scoring and feeling like the game's never over. That's really cool because this is the only real stadium where I go, oh, 2-0, 3-0, like 4-0, like okay, that's not going to be that big of a deal. And because it's Red Sox Yankees, there seems to be more like big moments that just like mistakes where there's a walk and a hit by pitch and like pitchers are getting more nervous than they normally are or whatever. And there's these like, oh, well now there's bases loaded and we're one swing away and you just got to hit it 360 feet. So I don't know. I thought it was just a fun atmosphere for this because
there was a game a couple years ago. I think it was 22 where Red Sox took the lead in extras when Bogey stole home. Like weird things happen at Yankee Stadium between the Sox and the Yankees.
Particularly.
That being said, that feeling of a 2-0 deficit feeling surmountable, didn't feel that. I didn't feel that at all, especially because I didn't think it was going to stop there. That's just kind of the way things go as of late. We didn't talk about the Angels series. We missed you guys, but that's kind of what happens when the first inning gets away from you. That's kind of what it just goes that way. It continues to go that way. And I thought the same exact thing was going to happen to Hunter Dobbins. And I was sitting there, I was drafting every tweet possible to be like, no, Hunter Dobbins probably shouldn't have said that shit. Probably should not have said that shit. Lucky for him, it kind of stopped there. I think did he allow two more?
One more.
One more. That could have been so bad. Giving up a bomb to Judge, especially in like this season, last season, the year before, like in the midst of Judge's prime, hardly fucking counts. It's like it's almost a badge of honor.
I was just gonna say it's kind of cool. It's weird, but it's kind of cool. I think what you're getting at the Dobbins thing. If you want to just do that real quick, I got a couple of takes on that. I think I want more of that with Red Sox Yankees. I think it's first of all a sick quote. And I like that it got Jazz to then talk back a little bit or start tweeting. I like that that's happening. he's a year away or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it was very funny that, like Judge talked about it and he was kind of just like, yeah, that's probably how he found out that Hunter Dobbins was a person. And like Jazz, I
Not
thought
even about the
actually,
quote, just of
yeah,
Hunter Dobbins' existence. Yeah.
Jazz, I think honestly put it like as much as I wanted to be just like Team Boston, when Jazz was like, yeah, kind of crazy for a rookie to say that. Just knowing there's only 30 of these teams in the world, you really haven't established yourself. Kind of a crazy thing to kind of rule out a team forever. Just as like from a business perspective, like, and I was just kind of
Yeah.
like, that's how I feel as well. Like I love the quote, like Vladdy or like Ken Griffey Jr., someone like that being like, "I'll never play for the Yankees," or fine, okay. Like if
Yeah.
Devers said it, like he could be okay
Yeah. He'd be
with
fine.
with one missed call, out of the 30 teams. Hunter Dobbins, like we don't know where his career goes. I like him, but doesn't have a
Yeah.
lot of whiff. And if I think that unfortunately, I could very much see this being a scenario where he signs a minor league deal with them in a couple of years, and it's just a big moment.
Yeah. I don't know if you've paid attention in the past couple of years, but the Red Sox and Yankees have kind of been doing a lot of business together. They've been making like a handful of moves, like a lot
Yeah,
more than in years past. They've been making moves back and forth. And Hunter Dobbins is like the prime guy who would be involved in one of those kinds of trades. Like a guy who has some major league experience. They see some future in him, but
I
there's a
can
guy
see
in
the
the
tweet.
Yankee system that fills a hole that's needed. Like, yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a trade. Just like the amount of like DFA claim
Yeah.
situations, like that, like a Dom Smith situation. Like he just that absolutely, I can see that now, and it's kind of funny. But overarching point, crazy that it was him. Love it though. Love the
Yeah.
move. I hope more people do that.
He's not the guy to say it's a classic. You're not that guy, pal. But no, I mean, I'm all about like bringing the rivalry
Yeah.
back a little bit more. Like when Narvaez was talking before this series, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I went to Oswaldo's house. Was it Oswaldo? Yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, I hung out with him for like 4 hours." It's like, yeah,
Mm,
I understand these guys are people, and also that
yeah.
Narvaez was just over there. But there is this little sense of like, when who had that game? MLB Network had the Friday game when they're showing like Tech and A Rod and whatever, all
Yeah.
that shit. And then it's followed up immediately with like, yeah, no, we were just hanging out. We got pizza. He had a bottle of tequila. You've been waiting for me. So we cracked that open together. Yeah, he's a good guy. Happy to see him. It's like, the juice is gone here, especially when you come into the series 9.5 games back. It's like, man, this was really not what it used to be. Here's another symptom of how not like it was that. Whoa, that's a gross sentence. Here's another example of how dissimilar it is now from when it was then. That wasn't better. Judge's quote about the Dobbins thing. Dude, he nails it. He just nails it. When he talks, he's just good at fucking everything. I hate it. I hate that
Mm,
he's so good at his sport, and he's tall and he's handsome and he's nice and he's well spoken to the media and he's signing shit for kids and he's on pop. I hate that there's nothing on this guy. Like the most that we got is like his girlfriend got a DUI in 2016. It's like that's not even what I'm looking for, man. I want him to be a piece of shit and he's just fucking not. And it's a little there's a little envy that comes up when the juiciest media quote that you're going to get from Aaron Judge is like, yeah, we're talking about that stuff internally, so we're going to keep that here. We're going to talk about it. That's like the juiciest thing you can get from him. And our superstar player is like, if they don't like it, they can trade me. I play third. That's where I play. No, I'm not going to move.
yep.
The answer is no. Like while that stuff's still looming over the Red Sox, and you just get a glimpse of Aaron Judge being this like face of the league, just this like infallible monument of baseball sportsmanship. I don't know what even the emotion is. It's just kind of like it's conceding a little bit. It's like, yeah, you guys win this one. Yeah, your superstar does the things right. Ours is kind of sitting in limbo right now. Yeah. But for Rafi to get that homer and first quickest Red Sox ever to get to 30 homers against the Yankees. Woo, that's cool.
I do enjoy Rafi in Yankee Stadium more than just about anything. He's so good there, and he always lives up to that moment. And it sucks that all that stuff has happened this year because I don't think you could find me saying a bad word about Devers before this year, and I've said quite a few things this year. I do think it's stupid that there are people out there that can't disassociate, the take of like, hey, he was being extremely immature in this moment to like, you better not root for him next time he hits a home run then. It's like, no, I'm not saying like I want him on this team. Like I hope he's the greatest player of all time. I just in this situation, you can't deny that he's being weird. I have a lot of takes on the position stuff, by the way. We'll talk about it with Roman and stuff like that. I don't know what you do. Everyone's talking about Devers to first. I don't think that helps at all.
What's his name? I always forget his name on the ESPN broadcast. The one with the voice.
Eduardo Perez.
Eduardo Perez. I always go to say Nunez because obviously, Eduardo Perez, dude. He said tonight. It's hard to defend Devers not moving to first because if he does, Roman Anthony has a clear path.
Yeah.
Wrong. Categorically false, brother.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's just thinking of it simply as you move Devers to first and then you have 4 outfielders and you can play them all because of the DH. But there's so many...
If they wanted Roman here, he would be here. Like, that's the fucking end of the story. Like, if they wanted him here, they would just bring him here. He's not here for service time manipulation, Eduardo. That's it.
Also,
that's it.
I really don't know what you do, and this is something that everyone's talking about. It's kind of not even fun to talk about, but I have landed on like this. I'm very confused, particularly because if we're talking about calling up, after the series, and we're at this point where every series it's a consideration. Roman Gonzalez might just be like a guy. I've felt that way for a bit, and I really genuinely feel like he's like a legitimate first baseman. And Toro, while I don't feel the same way about Toro, is red hot right now and not somebody you're gonna want push off the roster. Right now, your corner infield is set. And then also with Toro, you ride out the hot streak, and Bregman is reportedly at blazing speed in his recovery. So even if he cools off, there's probably not going to be a huge gap there where you feel like you need a third baseman. It's pretty much going to go to Toro's hot streak. Maybe it dips for a little bit, and then Bregman's going to be back before you know it sounds like. So there's no solution there. Third base is okay. Romy is... If you're not going to replace him with Campbell, which he's been better, but not exactly Romy right now is the better player. This week,
undoubtedly, yeah.
Yeah, this week he's the better player, so you're not trying to push him off. It's weird. And then you move Rafaela to second, you lose his best asset, which is center field defense. It's strange. I don't know. There's no answer for me that's clear. And I'm anti-trading Duran, anti-trading Williers. So I just don't have an answer. It's just an unprecedented health. That's the weird part.
I write for Newsweek.com and sometimes, and
you have written.
I've written on Newsweek. I have access to anytime I want to.
Yep. Yeah.
And I could not physically bring myself, Scott, to write about any of the Jarren Duran rumors because it's just out of fucking nowhere. I understand the report that the Red Sox are taking calls. Sure. Why wouldn't you? But all these trade packages, bro, it's everybody and their goddamn great aunt has come up with an idea of these 6 guys for Marcelo Mayer and Jarren Duran. Shut
and most
of
them
up.
Most of the packages, with the Padres, which was the big rumor, you're talking about an 18-year-old. It's are we really gonna do this? You guys, the Red Sox people saying I wouldn't do it unless it was for this guy. It's like you're going to trade for an 18-year-old right now. And we're going to do the whole prospect watch thing again for another 4 years. You want to do that. That's what you want to happen over having Jarren Duran. You'd rather wait 4 years so that somebody could maybe become a guy. That's the plan. We're going to do that.
Wait
again.
4 years, and then we might have Jarren Duran again.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Or and those people
or a worse player.
can never say a bad word about Bloom because you're the biggest fan of Bloom. You want to do it. You want to pull a Bloom, which worked, by the way, but let's not do it twice. That one blows my mind. The Duran stuff also started because they were saying that the Padres were interested in Jarren Duran. And it wasn't like anything. It's like, yeah, I'm sure. Like I would be interested in, Michael King, but I don't want to make. I'm not ready to make a move about it. Like I'm sure they like him. He's a good player. Yeah, I'm sure they're interested in Devers too, but that's not gonna happen.
This could boil down to one call where it was like, hey, we know you got an outfield. It's pretty crowded. You got a guy coming up. We like Duran. You listening? Like, is he on the table? And an answer that said something like, for the right thing, but we're not itching to move him by any means. So, we'll talk. You can call us sometimes. That's probably all the conversation was.
That was the reporting. It was that the Padres would like him, and that the Red Sox didn't hang up on the Padres, which is just literally, it's like you said, hey, any world where we get Duran, I don't know, what do you got? Like that. Yeah. That's basically what the report was, and so I'm not really worried about it. I do think there is, people have talked about it almost as if it's like a bad thing for Breslow, where they've said, and I've been the biggest one. I've been saying this all year. Like everyone's talking about, you got to trade an outfielder, you got to trade whatever, so that you can find a spot. And I kept saying it's a 162 game season. I still feel that way. Unprecedented amount of health in the outfield this year. I can't remember a time there hasn't really has there been an IL stint from Ref Snyder for a minute, but
Yoshida, I guess if you would call him that.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him an outfield. He's not.
Well, they did say he was going to play the field this year.
He did. So, I don't know where they were going to jam him in there. I don't know where was he supposed to play?
Room for him. They would make room.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to say that they've done everything they could to not make room. But, actions and words. You always got to pay attention to that.
Right.
I just think it's insane how healthy they've been. Someone should have gotten hurt by now.
Yes, but also just waiting on an injury is also a crazy strategy. And I don't know. Red Sox stats this week was asked, what would you do to jam Roman into this lineup? And he said, invent a time machine, go back 5 months and trade an outfielder like they should have. Yeah, I don't agree. I don't know. I mean, now we are sitting here coming up with all these hypotheticals about how the hell we get Roman in there. And that kind of is the answer. When you go back, you're like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent out there, which is a weird problem to have. But also, there's a guy whose talent probably exceeds the talent that's out there. Rafael really making a case for himself, though. Really tough. Because if he was still doing the stuff that he was doing last week, this week, people would be screaming to get him up here and put him in center. Or, put him in left, put Jarren in center and call it a day and say the offense isn't worth it, or the defense isn't worth what he's not doing at the plate. But he just decided to turn it on and go crazy past couple series. So he's making that tough.
My thing is the with the Roman Anthony, you got to get him up thing. What do you think I'm just going to use OPS plus because it's a simple stat. What do you think his 2025 realistic range would be in your head? This season.
108 as the floor.
Okay.
Ceiling of 120.
Okay. So that's interesting because we're talking about pushing out trading away Duran and Willier. And maybe some logical fans will say you're going to get something that helps right now, like a starting pitcher, whatever. Then you got to find a buyer trade that makes sense. That's not going to be easy. Those are very complicated. Right. They both have years of control, so that does make it easier. But Jarren Duran has a 110 OPS plus. Wilyer Abreu has a 120 OPS plus. And they're both better defenders, I think, at this point in time. Roman Anthony's not bad by any means, but they're both plus outfielders historically. You know, Wilyer won a Gold Glove last year. Duran had like 17 defensive runs saved in center field last year, something like that. So you don't expect him to be that good defensively. He's going to be fine. And then the range that you just gave, 108 to 120, is the exact 110 to 120. So I don't know how. Like, I think obviously Roman deserves to be on this team in a vacuum. Like, if you just is he big league ready? Yes, of course. I just think this idea that if you just get rid of somebody and then call up Roman Anthony, this team is now a postseason team? I don't know how that happens.
If Wilyer, if you have him instead of Wilyer, or you have him instead of Duran, no, the team does not elevate to some.
But that's what people want to do. That's what the majority of people are saying. It's either Rafaela, Wilyer, or Duran. Rafaela, I didn't use the case because it's weird because he's got the best center field defense out there pretty much. And except for a couple of throwing decisions. And now, his hitting, I'm curious where he's at. He's definitely a below average hitter, but not by much.
If you look at the last week stats in a vacuum, I'm sure they're something special.
On the year, he's a 91. So he's still just slightly below league average offensively.
But that's right after a hot streak. I mean, he's been living in the 80s.
Sure, but with Gold Glove defense, which kind of, again, I think if you're talking about total value of a player.
What is the drop-off? And I'm asking this, genuinely. What is the drop-off in center field defense from Rafaela to Duran?
I don't think it's that much. And think it is. I think that is the easiest solution of it all. But I think getting Duran in center, Anthony left, and then Rafaela, you just never play again. Maybe move into second base sometimes or whatever.
Well, he'll get
exciting.
He'll get out there because Roman is a lefty, and we do not play rookies against left-handed pitchers. So Rafaela will still start games.
Yeah, you may be looking at that's a good point. You might actually be looking at a Rafaela Anthony platoon, which wouldn't be exactly the same, but you have Rafaela play center and Duran play left, and then you switch them, Duran to center.
Against righties, yeah. And obviously that would get Roman a majority of games. I don't know. That seems a good point. Solve it to me.
I think that probably is what happens. But again, in that scenario, that does make them better. But that's not the problem with this team. The team makes poor defensive decisions all over the infield, primarily.
Yeah.
And the pitching is not reliable. And that doesn't help us get anywhere closer. Yes, then maybe someone's saying, okay, you trade Duran or Wilyer to do that, but it's like you're giving up controllable assets. I don't think that's a good idea. I think having a overloaded position player group is not a problem. That's a good thing, and that we shouldn't be rushing to trade away long-term assets.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about the decision to platoon, specifically with Mayer, not letting him see lefties quite yet. But first, I wanted to tell you that Prize Picks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Do you know ball? There's only one series left in the playoffs, and the championship is officially on the line. That means time is running out for you to put your final takes to the test on Prize Picks, the best place to win cash in on your favorite sports. is what it says. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Every Tuesday, one of my favorite days, one of my top 7 favorite days, Prize Picks will discount several projections on the board, usually by 15 to 25%. What do they call that, Scott?
We call it Taco Tuesday.
They call it Taco Tuesday, and it's up to you to find out why. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, Scott, Marcelo Mayer not hitting against lefties until today. Did get one AB near the end, where the game wasn't really on the line. They let him see a lefty. He grounded out to second. What are you going to do? Also got his first homer in this series. Very cool. In Yankee Stadium, kind of in garbage time a little bit, but doesn't matter. Smoked it. Smoked it. Sick. Looked sick.
No,
it's kind of weird that your first homer, you can't really celebrate that much, but...
Yeah, but first homer in Yankee Stadium as a Red Sox player, always cool, especially when it's like a guy that's supposed to be a dude, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's a top prospect. Like, doing that is, you know, pretty cool. Everyone said Bogarts did that too, so.
Yeah. It's going to be cool to watch that video down the line and be like, wow, right. Marcelo looked so young there. Like, that's immediately where my brain went. It's like, this is going to be the clip we watch where we're like, oh my God, he had that hair. I forgot. And what have you. I hope that we don't forget about the hair. I hope the hair is still there. Lots of different opinions floating around on the internet, dude. Lou Merloni making his thoughts known that the decision to not start Mayer against left-handed pitching is the team doing their best to win. That they are opting for the more favorable matchups over big league development, and that making the case that guys don't see good left-handed pitching in the minors. Other people saying that he needs to be an everyday guy, and that was kind of one of the unspoken deals when he came up, that he was going to play every day, need to get him regular at-bats. Maybe Cora has too tight of a leash. Where do you fall on this? Should Mayer be playing every day regardless of handedness?
I think the simple answer is yes, but right this moment, I do understand riding the hot hand with Toro. Like, again, that comes back to, you know, again, you're not going to, like Story, if you're going to replace Story for Mayer every day in those situations where it's like Mayer's going to play shortstop against lefties and you're just going to deal with it with losing the right-handed bat with Story, and then you get them both in there versus righties. That probably is the easiest thing, but I actually do think Story kind of proved that Cora pulled the right levers.
I mean, we got to have a conversation about Story at some point on this show. That just jogged something in my brain. His numbers are fucking stupid for this month. It's obviously a nuanced conversation, but my gut, no matter how wrong it might be, is saying that if he's here, play him. Like, if he's not going to see lefties in the minors, and he's not going to see them now, when and where is he going to see them? Is he going to see him in the offseason? Like, he's going to ask Bernardino to come pitch a bullpen at his house? Like, I don't understand. Like, he has to see them at some point. And the thing is, he's a major league baseball player. Like, I get the matchup stuff, but it feels like babying to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, look, my reaction every time I see that he's not in there is like, come on, like, frustrated before the game. But I will say, when you think about like this series and what Cora did, hard to argue. Like,
it worked. It's just like the argument that like they're doing this to win, right? That this is actually the better decision if they're trying to win. There's like such an easy counterpoint. It almost feels like low-hanging fruit to make it, but like, if they wanted to win, like, we know who would be here.
Well, I think that's a different thing. There's a different thing between when Breslow's going to call up Roman Anthony and Cora making the lineup on June 8th with the roster that's on his hands.
You're right. But there is this other part of me, and this is stupid. This is dumb. They shouldn't take this into account, but I do.
Okay.
Okay?
So bad take coming.
Bad take coming.
Okay.
Garrett Crochet, Marcelo Mayer, and Rafi, I guess, are like the reasons people are watching right now. Like, this is a very small window where the spotlight is just on the Red Sox, and people who are just tuning in hear about this new exciting kid that got called up. Like, take advantage of it just from a business perspective, right? Like, people are excited about Mayer and Roman. One of them is here. People want to see him play.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, to the point of, I mean, that's why it gets me frustrated, but then I'm also like, you know, when Story has a big day, it's like, well, that was a good thing we had the matchup there, I guess. You know, so it's like, I agree with that. When he has a 5 RBI game, it's like, well, I'm doubt Mayer would have done that, just based on probability. But I will say, like, the whole, like, having him play exclusively on one side and then letting them develop, I kind of get it because it doesn't seem to hurt people too bad. Like, Jaron Duran had that treatment and he's just fine. Like, he was just ready. They just said he was ready. I do think, you know, with Duran specifically, we were doing the same thing. Why is he not playing every day? Why is he not playing every day? Well, in his specific case, the mentality was a huge part of it for him. And I think just putting him in a position to succeed, giving him the confidence that he's a big leaguer before having him play every day, let him hit 280 because he's only hitting 280 against righties, and then throw him in with some lefties, and now he's still hitting 270 and he's good. We don't know. I don't think that's the problem at all with Mayer, and I don't think it'll be the problem with Anthony. Like, they seem very stoic and ready for the big leagues, but I do think it's such a mental game. It's such a, like, confidence-based game. And even if they look fine on the outside at all times, I do think having them excel in one role and then expanding the role does make sense. Even though it sucks when you look at the lineup card at 4 o'clock and go, damn, we're not going to get to watch Mayer today. And there's obviously the argument of how much development is he getting by not playing, you know, 4 of 6 days or, you know, whatever. But I do think there is a little bit of that, of like having a good, strong rookie season because you played him at his strengths, whereas numbers are eventually, hopefully, going to end up being solid. And then next year, it's like, now do the same thing, but every day.
It's just hard to not notice and point out that one of these guys ascended through the system faster than anyone, and they put him on the big league roster and said, go fend for yourself, you play every day. The other guy probably should have made the roster, didn't. Balloons everywhere. Should have made the roster, didn't. They call him up later and then platoon him, you know? And then it's like, okay, well, he's not playing every day. What are we doing? And then the third guy is just in Worcester. It's like really hard to not point out, like, you guys have a big three, and at least at surface level, looking at what you're doing with all three of them, I don't like any of it. I don't like any of the decisions that you've made with these three guys. And I think people would argue there are different. You could assign each of these guys different roles of what they've been given. You know what I mean? Like, Roman could very well be an everyday guy. You let him struggle. You let him go. You let him do his thing. Kristian Campbell, a guy that you maybe platoon. Or whatever. And Marcelo's just going to have to be in Worcester a little bit longer. His numbers were whatever this year in Worcester. They were okay. They were good. But he's here because of an injury. You know what I mean? When you look at how they've handled each specific case, at least, like I said, bullet point wise, surface level, it's like impossible to not point out, damn, I think you could do all of those differently. I don't know. I'm just
I agree with that.
Not a big fan of how they're handling any of this, and I don't know. I don't know, man. I wonder how Roman feels about all this. Would love to hear his take. You got his number?
I do have his number.
Yeah. Text him.
I haven't texted him. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been
Did you
that
have
is
like
hilarious.
3 unanswered texts that you've sent him? Read us your text with Roman Anthony.
I do have a text back from Roman. Roman Anthony has texted me.
Okay.
Basically, a mutual person asked us if he would come, if it would be okay for him to come on ITM.
Which was okay with us, yeah.
Yeah. And I just said, hey, this is my name from, Sports Illustrated, ITM, back in the day when it was there. We wanted to promote. He had something to promote. I'm not gonna say what it is because he didn't come on. And he said, how's it going? I leave tomorrow to Boston for a week, but I'm back next Sunday. After that, I'm free that whole week to talk! ! And then I said, all right, perfect. I'll hit you up then. And then 11 days later, I said, do you have any availability now that camp winter weekend is over? He never answered. So that was it. So there's only one non-answer. Like one was just like, okay, cool, talk soon. And then there was one. I didn't keep following up because I was like, you know what, busy dude, whatever.
Busy dude. If you wanted to hit him up, it was also I wouldn't stop you.
It's one of those things where it's just like at the time, and I knew how good he was going to be, but I don't care who you are. If your team asks me to do something and then I ask and I say yes and then they don't do it, I'm like, well, what the why am I'm not going to be a fool and triple text this guy. Like, you asked me. Like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I disagree. Do it now. On the air. We'll name the episode We Text Roman.
I call him.
Yeah, call him. What the fuck? What's he doing? Nothing.
Dude, what if I just called him up?
That's what I'm saying.
I could call him up. I could be like, hey, it's Craig Breslow.
Call him up.
No, I'm saying, yeah. No, I'm saying, like, call and be like, hey, this is Craig Breslow. It's time.
Yeah. It's demonic that we could do that.
Yeah. But I think that might force the Red... I wouldn't do it. I just wonder if it would push the hand of the Red Sox,
Yeah, what if we said, like, tell everybody, post it, and we'll see you at Fenway on Monday. And then he shows up, and what are they going to do? Say, no, dude, go back to Worcester?
We release a recorded phone call. I use all of the outlets I know to push it out and say, Roman Anthony just got the call.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been Breslow's assistant or something. I think we could pull that off.
If the Red Sox refuse to let him play after that, the shitstorm that they would find themselves in.
Yeah.
The Felger shitstorm.
Unironically, the hardest part about that game plan would be getting him to pick up the phone. After that, the plan works. Not necessarily that he gets called up to Boston, that we could push it out and have it go viral and have the entire fan base think he gets called up. That would be the hardest. The hardest part would be him answering.
Yeah. Do you think, you use a Boston area code, right? We're not actually planning this. But if we were, I would say something like, you use WhatsApp, you get a Boston area code.
I already have one.
Well, you don't use your real number. He has your number.
Yeah, but I don't think he's saved my number.
He would text you after and be like, hey, Craig, thanks so much. Wait a second. I've texted this guy before. This is that prick from Sports Illustrated that I ghosted. And then you gotta find like an AI of Craig Breslow's voice, which has got to exist.
I wouldn't say he ghosted me. I'd say he just got busy and probably forgot to answer.
No, he saw your text and he ignored it, bro. He saw your text and he said, no, I'm not responding to this.
I think it was one of those things where it just didn't work out for him.
No, whatever you're telling yourself is not the case, man. He saw it and he said, no, thanks.
I don't think so. I think
you ever get a text from somebody and you're like, what the fuck? Why are they texting? No, I'm not responding to you. Yeah, but you ever do that? Because that's what Roman did to you.
Well, no, because first of all, he answered. First of all, one text message from
Roman
Anthony.
He answered you to say no once. Yeah.
He didn't say that. He said, I'd love to. He had an exclamation point. What are you talking about?
He said maybe another time.
How many exclamation points has he said you? He didn't say another time. He gave me a time, and then he ignored the time. When the time came, what happened happened.
He what?
All I'm saying is he probably answered it in his head, and then just forgot to actually send a text. It happens to everybody.
All right, so let me hear your best Craig Breslow. Roman Anthony answers, and you say,
Oh, well, that's what I don't think we were gonna do that. Like we could just do we could be like it's Craig's assistant.
"No,
This is a
dude,
weird
I
way
need
to
to
do
hear
this.
your Craig Breslow impression. You've been working on it, like I asked. I texted you the rundown for this episode.
Oh.
This is in the script."
You probably what you did is you probably meant to send it to me. You said it in your head, but you never actually sent the text, just like what Roman did with me. That's probably
Yeah, I don't think that's that's the case either.
I didn't
time
get
there,
that text, so
unfortunately.
that's probably what happened. That's kind of what I'm talking about. So anyway, yeah, maybe I'll hit him up. See if I can get him on the show.
That we should actually do.
I know. I've been thinking about it. I forgot that I had his number until you said that. You said it when you were like, oh, you got his number, just call him. I was like, there's just a joke from Joey, and then I was like, oh wait, no, I do. I forgot about that. I forget about that.
There's
all
another
the time.
joke from the big joke guy.
Yeah.
No, it's real.
Yeah. I just forget how influential I am.
Boom.
Dude, why doesn't it work for me?
I don't know. You got to turn the balloon setting on. Series MVP. There is one fella with an OPS higher than everybody else's who did play in all 3 games. He only had 4 at-bats, but he did play in all 3 games. One of them was a homer.
Did he live with Roman Anthony at one point in his life?
He lived with Roman Anthony at one point in his life. A 1750 OPS for Marcelo Mayer.
I think I know who this is then.
Yeah, it's Marcelo.
Yeah.
It's Marcelo Mayer. Yeah. Dead giveaway there.
I don't think
not too many folks on this team have lived with Roman Anthony.
Yeah.
But there's another fella. Also played in all 3 games. He got a few more ABs. He got 9 more ABs, 13 at-bats. He went 7 for 13. 3 RBI. Also had a homer. Had a walk in there. Great walk. He hit .538 with an OPS of 1571.
Is he on a hot streak right now?
He's on a pretty big hot streak right now.
Does he play third?
Sometimes.
Is his name Abraham Toro?
His name's Abraham Toro. Yeah, I think that's a unanimous one. After that, you can get down to Devers. 1233 OPS. He hit 250. Kind of hard to go there. Kristian Campbell was up there, hit 500, but only had 8 at-bats, so 4 for 8 over this series.
He made too many mistakes to get an MVP.
Yeah. And also, game 2, he put together 2 of the worst at-bats I've ever seen in my entire life. It was game 1. It was game 1. Horrendous at-bats. There was the watch 3 strikes at-bat.
Oh.
And then there was the swing at 2 balls, watch 1 ball, watch the 3rd strike at-bat, which, I mean, they happened in the opposite order because I think they got the memo that like, oh, this guy's just not going to swing. He has no confidence right now at all. I'm just going to throw him 91 down the dick, and that should do it. So, no, we can't give it to Kristian Campbell. Romy Gonzalez on here hit 400, 1,200 OPS, 4 for 10.
He made game 1 a game for a second.
He did. Dude, he is so athletic at first, dude. Couple of great plays from Romy.
He's also, like, I'd love to know his numbers. So clutch. Anytime I see Romy Gonzalez with like a pinch hit, like a big situation, anything like that, I'm like, I feel good right now. I feel like he is always living up to those moments. I felt very like the double he got in game 1 to make it a game. I felt very good before he got that hit. Like he's just a guy that has come through for this team. It's crazy how bad he was for the White Sox. And great for us.
Yeah, I mean, what did you expect from Romy Gonzalez? I mean, if you say anything other than nothing, I don't believe you. Like, I don't think anybody did expect anything.
When?
Like last year.
Last year, agreed. This year,
this year, I think we were like, oh, like Romy can hold down the fort. Situation. I just want to see late and close. How do we get that?
Have that?
Yeah, there's a late and close
baseball reference, right?
Or high leverage. Let's just go high leverage.
They have
season. He's hitting 400 in high leverage situations. 571 BABIP, 1,000 OPS, 178 weighted runs created plus in high leverage situations. Yeah, he's clutch.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have the stats to back that up, but I just know that he seems to get it done.
Yeah, he sure does.
There's two things on Campbell that
That's the worst I've got you in a long time. It's time to empty your brain of thoughts.
I was going to say, there's been some times where you've taken a victory lap when I've certainly stopped my sentence before. And it's just close. And I've been like, come on, you know you didn't get me. You're trying. You're reaching here. You got me bad on that one. I wasn't ready for that even a little. That's definitely the best you've gotten me in months. Maybe the season.
You were ready to say something. And I said no.
I was mid-sentence. Yeah, Campbell, I just want to preface this by saying with Campbell, every time I think about being critical of him, I think about how his father specifically asked us to be good to him. And he's like, I'm leaving him with you guys, and you've been really great to us because he was Rookie of the Month in April. So he's just like, these guys are the best fans ever. Nope, now everyone's like, send him down. Now you got Ken Rosenthal saying, just send him down for Roman Anthony.
Yeah.
But there's the ground ball he said he didn't see where he was just in cement, and it should have absolutely been at least an out, probably a chance at a double play. And then game 3, again, it didn't matter, but there was an opportunity to go first to third, and he just stopped at second. And it was there's just been like little things like that where it's like, man, what is going on in his brain right now? It seems like the game is fast for him at the moment.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
He's got to listen to jazz and play at 70%.
Jazz wants to be cool so bad. He wants to be cool so bad. He's just like, he's not quite. There's something off.
I think he's cool. I think Miami Marlins Jazz was very cool.
Yes.
I think, you know what it is I think he's done a lot of cool things. But I think because we know how much he's trying to be cool, it hurts when he does something cool. For example, he made 2 really, really good plays the inning before he was mic'd up. And the second one, like, I actually had like an audible, like, whoa, like that was awesome. And then when he was mic'd up, he tried that spin throw that he wasn't going to do. And it was one of those, like, he was doing that for the camera. Even though he's playing Major League Baseball, and it was like, and that's why it's not cool, is because you wanted that moment so bad to have that mic'd up spin throw in a moment that there was no chance you were making that happen against.
Yeah, he wanted one of those clips. Like, there's been a couple of those. Like, hold on one sec, guys, I got to make a play.
He's clip farming in Major League Baseball.
He's clip farming. Yeah, that's if there's one thing that like sums up Jazz Chisholm, it would be that. It would be exactly that moment of like, he's showing, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's showing off. He's trying to have his moment. I
think Bo Bichette does the same thing, or did when he was relevant and had hair, and could hit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Jazz is like, I actually liked, like, when he was mic'd up, I was like, this guy's like I like what he's saying. Like, he's not doing too much. He does have unbelievable equipment, like from cleats to sleeve to glove. love all of that, and I don't think he's like I'm very much like I wish there were more polarizing players in the game, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was very likable, but it was also like when he did that spin throw, it was like, come on.
Yeah, come on a little bit here. It's also I get so nervous for those guys when they're talking, especially like Jazz is playing third and like creeping onto the infield grass against a righty, and I was like, dude, can we let Jazz have some space for a sec? Like he needs to be on his fucking A game.
Being mic'd up during an error, like I felt incredibly bad for a Yankees player and a Red Sox against the Red Sox. Like that made me feel it was an like you felt the embarrassment from the couch where he was just like, I think he was just like, damn, and then he was like silent for like a couple seconds. It's like, man, this is awkward. This is tough.
Yeah, this is probably not the words that he says when he's not mic'd up in this moment, huh?
Yeah, the commentator having to be like, that was a tough play. So whatever. And like, hey, that's a hit. That's a hit. And he's like, yep, hitting an error. And it's like, I would have loved Whitlock to be mic'd up when he got hit because I would imagine the fake swears he threw out there would have been very
dang it.
Like, yeah.
Gee whiz has definitely come out of his mouth in the past 24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. When he got hit, I was like, oh, what? They just showed him kind of grimace. And I was like, I bet you he either didn't swear at all or said something that would have made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
With anger.
I got some other thoughts I got to empty out of my brain here. Rafi didn't hustle down the line. And the commentator talked about benching him. And then he hit a home run instead. And that's kind of just the story of Rafi Devers. That's just kind of
the update. The update, Cora said like it wasn't hustle related, which means he's got something going on. Just like,
yeah, good
which
news.
People have noted
the field. So,
yeah,
yep.
And we don't need him to be fast if he can still hit, which it looks like he's okay.
The Angels series sucked so bad. We didn't do a show. The Angels series was so bad. I was like, I'm not doing it tonight. And then my sister graduated high school. Congratulations,
seemingly by surprise, based on the reactions, the text you sent me.
Yeah, they warned me a lot, and I was like, definitely, I'll be there. And then my mom was like, remember, it's at 7. I was like, tonight, right? Tonight. Who graduates at 7 p.m. Anyway, so I was at that, and then got home, and I was sick as a dog, and I was like, Scott, I'm not around. So here we are. Sorry for the delay there. That's why that didn't happen. The one takeaway from the Angel series that I will give you is Flores and who's that? Tyler Anderson. The fight before Game 3. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. John Boy broke it down. This is what John Boy is meant for. People love to hate on John Boy, but like his breakdowns, especially this kind of stuff, is what he's built for. The catcher for the Angels, whose name is escaping me right now, was tipping the pitches. He's setting up differently for changeups. So Flores was making
Logan.
Yeah,
Logan
it was Ohapi.
Right?
Yeah. Was alerting the batters when it was a changeup, and he took exception to that and decided to yell at him on the field. When I first saw it, I was like, "What the fuck are we doing, guys? Like, we're not in the position to be doing this shit." And then once I learned what it was about, I was like, "Oh no! Like Flores is totally in the right. That's insane. That Tyler Anderson is going to be upset that his catcher is tipping. Like you should be yelling at Logan Ohapi." Story in the month of June. Do you want to guess what he's hitting?
272.
347.
Really? He's weird.
Is that not insane? Including today.
Because he good versus Braves, bad versus Angels, good versus Yankees. That's what he did.
Yeah. 347.
I wonder what the underlying situation looks like. Like, is he
I
hitting
have
it
no
hard?
idea.
Yeah, there's no way that you can't really break down like sample sizes like that. It's hard.
And the
I don't know
last
that
thing
that
I
would mean
got,
much anyway.
yeah, I mean, it's probably just that he's a major league veteran and probably found something and is on a little bit of a streak right now. I don't know. I wish it changed how I felt. If it sustains for another week, it probably will. But I don't know. This is also why you don't give up on a guy for a bad month. Like, this can just come out of him. This could be who he is. Probably not 347, but he could very well. I don't know either. I'm trying to keep hopes up. And the last thing I got, Roman Anthony hit a ball very, very, very far.
Yeah.
With a bat in a game. There were runners on every base. A 4-run home run, they call it. He hit it.
They do call it
almost half of 1,000 feet, which is very far. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that. The other thing, before we get out of here, the series preview is going to be in a different audio file on your Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever. If you're listening to the show somewhere and you're like, well, you didn't do the pitching preview. Pitching previews, it's probably coming up next. If you went to the show page and played this, it's that way. It's click over there. You can go tap over there now if you want. Or if you want to listen to this part, you can, but no, just go tap now.
No, I got stuff.
Go tap now.
No, I mean, no, but I got some good stuff.
Go tap now. What do you got?
Okay, well, now I feel like there's pressure on the stuff, and I feel like it's not going to be as... You're making me self-conscious about my takes.
Everyone is like hovering over the button right now. What do you got?
I know. Just click it, whatever. I'm a loser.
Who gives a shit? Go.
The defense has been so bad that I was watching the Red Sox hit, and there was a ball that Story hit that was usually played a second that most fielders would make. That was that, and he just like outreach the second baseman's glove, didn't make it. It was game 3, and even though I very much knew it was the Red Sox, it just the way the sequence happened, it was so Kristian Campbell that I just went, and then I went, wait, that was us. What am I doing? It's not like a weird, like, pinstripes. Like, it's not hard to be like, which team is hitting right now? And it wasn't like I just came back from the bathroom, didn't know who was up. Like, I was watching it, but the way I had seen us, it was just like outstretched glove after a bad jump off the ball, and just missed it. And I was like, damn. Wait, no, that's just a Story single.
That's like textbook PTSD. That's coming back from the trenches and seeing a laser pointer and hitting the ground. Yeah.
It was, I think it was a 190 batting average against on that play or something like that. Expected batting average. Like, it was one of those plays where just like, again, cement infielder. But I thought that was notable where I immediately that happened and I went, oh yeah, that's okay. That's been happening enough where I just assume that's us no matter what, even though I know we're up. The second thing I thought was very funny is Toro hit a second deck homer and just an absolute nuke out of right field. And I went into this game, by the way, with people talking about a lot of home runs that I felt like were pretty shallow at the short porch, saying, they were gone in 30 of all 30 parks. And I was like, maybe I'm just like overreacting to this. And then he had a second deck blast, and the numbers come out, and it was 391 feet. And I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's not far. And then, and then the Story, 2 seconds later, 361 feet gone.
Yeah. Have you been to Yankee Stadium?
No.
It's jarring, that right field. It is jarring. It feels like a high school stadium. It's unbelievable. It's right there, dude. It's right there.
I've probably said this before. I was supposed to go to Yankee Stadium once in like middle school, and I had a AAU tournament in Long Island, and there was like a billion games. One game on Thursday. We had tickets for Thursday, and like 100 games Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we had the one game. We kicked off the whole tournament. We had one night game to start the whole tournament, and the probability of that was almost impossible.
Yeah.
So it never went.
Well, that would have been the old Yankee Stadium, and wouldn't you believe it, they moved the right field short porch in when they built the new one. They said, this short porch ain't short enough.
When did the new Yankee Stadium happen? I believe that would have been the new stadium because I would have been in.
Oh, yeah. Probably right around there.
Just barely. But yeah, I remember I'm way younger than you.
Not that younger. I was in middle school when they changed it, so.
Well, then I must have been in high school. No, that's not close.
That doesn't make sense.
I meant the story, mate. You know what? Forget it.
You can follow us on the socials at IT. Is that the last thought you got to get out?
Yep.
All right. You can follow us on the socials at ITM_pod. You can follow us subscribe on YouTube at Red Sox Clubhouse. That would help out a lot. We're posting more stuff there sometimes. So just go follow. Just even if you don't watch, just go sub. That would help. That'd be awesome. That'd be cool. They want subs over there. Make my boss happy. Would you please? Tweet at me. Be like, I love the Red Sox CLNS YouTube page. That is my favorite place to get Red Sox content and information, and the ITM podcast is so fucking good. Say something like that.
And tag CLNS too in the tweet.
Yeah.
Bottom.
Tag my boss. Yeah, he would appreciate that. And thanks to Prize Picks, we will see you guys after this thrilling 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. Go listen to the series preview for Scott Neville. I'm Joey Copponi. Go Sox, kid.